We have not spoken to anybody after the film has released in terms of media. What has happened is that it's not as though I have sat down and collected all my thoughts with some unit member or crew member or actor or with Mohit, who's the producer. We've done it together. Some glimpse from the past reflects itself, and we kind of hold on to that moment that you remember what happened or what this happens. I feel that there has, I mean, I can. I'm not the person who goes out and reads reviews at all. Neither did I do for this because I believe that the larger message of appreciation or otherwise comes through your body when your ears are not listening. I feel I seek the response to a film when you're not looking for a response. I feel that's the true and everlasting response. So I can feel the warmth that towards this film that the audience has shown, the love towards the film, towards me also. And I don't think I've completely taken it all in. I'm in the process of, but I can feel a overwhelming sense of gratitude towards the audience as well, because they've really taken it like it's their own film. Really, like um, I've not even, I've only said thank you, thank you, thank you. I've not really, like, they have really taken it on as their own film, seen it multiple times. People that don't write about films have written about it. I feel that they got a chance to kind of express their uh, love towards me through this film. Also, for one thing, Vedika, I'd like to say that the there is this overwhelming thought in my mind all the time, that all the akhadas of Chamkila were oversold. All the songs of his were hits. There is no song that did not do well. There is no akhada that was not overflowing with the number of people. And I feel that it is his vibe that has descended upon the film. And so that the film is also getting the same response as his songs and his akhadas used to get. I just then that first we had a screening. The first screening was for the Mami uh, year-round event. So they screened on the 8th before the release, a few days before the release on Netflix. And it really seemed like I got the feeling people were sitting on the aisles. It was overflowing, this auditorium in PVR. And I felt that अब लग रहा है कि ये चमकीला का अखाड़ा है हम देख रहे हैं और रिस्पॉन्ड कर रहे हैं इट रियली फेल्ट लाइक ये उसकी destiny है जो हमारे पिक्चर में आ गई feel this warmth and blessing from like I feel the blessing from the people of Punjab, from the land of Punjab always. So that continues. Also, I will say that this film also was a very, it took me to different places in Punjab, to the back and beyond, back of the beyond, which even Punjabis don't go to. छोटे गांव में जिनके नाम भी नहीं सुने थे लोगों ने. We have to we had to go and shoot there because that's the only place where Punjab of the 80s is still prevalent and present. So we were in those areas. So it also afforded us a lot of freshness. And also, Vedika, the important thing for me is see film come, goes, successful, very nice, very good. But there are certain very, like going through the life of Chamkila, there were certain very important lessons that I learned, I feel. And that really added a lot of freshness to me. Many places, I had never made a biopic before. Much later, actually, I realized that no biopic has been made on the life of a musician in India in the recent past. The last, I don't know, Baiju Babra hogi kisi black and white era mein, Tansen hogi, but not in the recent past. However, when I was trying to delve into the life and times of Chamkila, trying to understand his mind, his compulsions, and seeing and hearing from people what he had said, I was trying to understand it. I was trying to find the motivations. Uh, that he must have felt in order to do what he did. And there I stumbled upon the piece that you are talking about. These are his words, almost entirely his words. Yes, I have processed them. I have felt and experienced them. I have understood them while writing them. But the lesson is coming from him. This is one of the lessons where he says that मैं पढ़ा लिखा आदमी नहीं हूं, मैं आपकी तरह समझदार नहीं हूं. The person who he was speaking to, which is Swaran Singh Sibia, he has quoted this conversation to me. But he had said that वो यही कहता था कि मेरी तकदीर में जो होगा, अगर गोली मुझे लगनी है तो वो लग के रहेगी. So I have rationalized it, understood it, felt it, experienced it. But the words are primarily his, not mine. So since this is a true life story, I had decided that as much as possible, I will not manipulate the events that are being told to me. You also must understand that the research that was done in this film was done directly by me. And the research basically entailed talking to those people that were in his life. So as the story gets revealed in the film, as though somebody is telling the story to that police officer, or Tiki is telling the story to somebody else. That's how these are the people that have told me. Tiki has told me all the things that Tiki is saying in the film. It was so, and Kikkar has told me those things that he's saying in the film. Sivya later on, the turban character towards the end, he's told me directly these things. So I had an insight into the material, which is different from just research material. And I met various people trying. So basically, I thought, let me not manipulate this. Let me not pluck out scenes from imagination. Let me do this different thing of actually trying to find out what exactly would have happened in the room when Chamkila was alone with Amarjot. Because the before and after has been reported by various people, and we all know what the fact is. But under kya hua hoga logically, not because I want the scene to be dramatic, but it seems tenable, most tenable. So मेरे लिए एक अलग process था, बहुत fresh process था, which was very interesting to me actually. So maybe that caused some difference. The other thing was that there were some compulsions. I had to break the grammar. Because, for instance, it was very difficult and was not coming through very nicely about how the roofs will break and women will fall. And this event is like an event of great like happiness in the success of for an artist. But come to think of it, it must be so painful for those women that must have fallen, right? So we did not want to show it in the realistic manner because it would be terrible, actually, that visual. Therefore, we had to go for animation. I never have smoking in my films. However, in this film, it was very, very important. It was like a very important thing that Chamkila had done, which is lit up that bidi. And I had to show it. If I didn't show it, then it would be unfair. So then also used animation over there. Because I don't want anybody to pick up smoking after watching any of my films. So that's my personal thing. Up till now, there hasn't been. So this was the first time. So therefore, animation. So animation came into the film. Similarly, there was this other compulsion or challenge that how all the songs that Chamkila sings are in Punjabi. And if you're making a film on his life, how will you change his songs? Because usi ke basis par to aap film bana rahe ho. So therefore, and how to explain it to the Hindi audience? Because definitely, clearly, I'm making a Hindi film, not a Punjabi. So therefore, we had to come up with the super ideas, like the supers on screen, so that you understand as it goes on. And there is another compulsion that there is a personal life story of Chamkila, and there is the larger legend of Chamkila, so to speak. How do you compromise both of them? You know, you have to have both running. So then you have to have a certain style of writing the screenplay so that one cuts into the other as seamlessly as possible, so that you see the grandeur, you see the larger Chamkila story, and you see the struggles of a personal individual who's an artist. So there were many of these things which came as compulsions, and we found a way, and luckily they kind of seem to have fallen into place. Then also what was happening is that in order to See, Rahman sir's idea was to break the fourth wall in the songs, which is also a very big deal. You know, he said that let's have a musical theater kind of an approach to some of the songs. I clutched on to that idea because for me, I knew that the audience coming to watch the film will know zero about Chamkila. So it is the duty of the film to inform them pretty early in the film about who this gentleman is. That the first song that Baja song does, where people are talking directly to camera, and there we go through all the gamut of opinions that people have of Chamkila around his time. That people are dismissive of him, people love him, people admire him, people hate him, people are jealous of him, and so on and so forth. So that breaking of the fourth wall happened as a result of that. And then also the song with the women, this Naram Kalja, where the women are talking directly to the camera. So that was one thing that we did again to for the larger to create the myth of Chamkila, so to speak, you know, because he was an artist of that caliber or that popularity. Then also we thought that there is already tragedy in his life. A man was gunned down at the age of 27. It's a tragic event. But we didn't want people to feel that we didn't want to make a heavy film. Because Chamkila music is not heavy. He's always celebrating. So why should we make a heavy film on his life? Now, how to do that? So there were many things that we did opposite, that we'll keep it light, we'll keep it funny. And, you know, so that was also Rahman sir's idea, that Dukhi film nahi banani. So in fact, the real reason of making the film was that Chamkila's life was like the life of Punjab, like dovetailing with each other all the time. Ever since we have heard about like the history is clear from the time Alexander came towards this part of the world. From that time, there has been violence there. And from that time, there has also been great mysticism, all the Sufi saints are from there. All the lovers of India are basically lovers of Punjab, Soni Mahiwal, Heer Ranja, etc., etc. All of them, all of them. So, yet they don't even have a form of architecture because their buildings were getting crushed. Anybody who was entering was first trampling upon their heads to enter. So Punjab, yet the music is so strong. Even in Tamil, like Chennai, you hear Punjabi songs on the radio. So what there is some irrepressible spirit, but there is also always the blood flowing in the five rivers, you know. And yet there is so much spirit and celebration. So Chamkila's life was like a representation of the life of Punjab, which is why I made the film. Like it kind of was the same story in a way, but that in the background. But sometimes the background and that's going on in my mind. I didn't want to bore the audience by giving them a lecture on what Punjab is, but sometimes that background and the foreground has matched in the film, like in that Ishq Mitaye song, where you see a backdrop where there is some activity going on, which is tragic because we are talking about the 80s after all in Punjab. See, I have grown to understand that no matter how you want to see your film, it is the response of the larger audience that is usually a bit more accurate, not your own self-analysis about your work or your film. And Rahman sir is the one that started saying this because he was the first person I showed the film to because of the BGM. So and he was the first person seeing. So he saw the film and he said, this one is different. So I said, is it good different or bad different? So he said, you know, you've made 8 films. If now you've made a different film, that in itself is good, Imtiaz. That's the biggest thing. I felt nice about that, honestly. If they feel that, if I have a positive feeling about this, people saying that 2.0 Imtiaz and all of that, and that I have a positive feeling. And more than anything else, I feel that a lot of people that were kind of rooting for me got a chance with this film. So I also feel a bit more encouraged to work more earnestly, to work with, like, to delve deeper, to, to, I know that a lot can be done in this medium. I have always had this feeling that I am just scraping the surface of what is possible to be done as a director. People might like, so I'm feeling that now maybe this is like a beginning to enter into that realm. You know, I will allow myself to get into a realm where I think that maybe I can do better. So I'm encouraged. Research मैंने किया है to the for the script. Super enthusiastic. This team was the best team I've ever worked with. The art director, cinematographer, editor, and my assistant Suraj. But we also had like Jassi Sangha, who is my friend, and she is the kind of research supervisor or the research head of this film. And she was always there authenticating everything. But let's say the costume department with Sheetal Sharma, they were so themselves interested in finding out authentically kya tha, to go down to those bazaars and try to buy, to look at their own family pictures, to see what kind of fabric was going on, what kind of gota chunri kam was going on at that time. Similarly, the art director Suman and his team, Tripti and Shohini, they were much more than I expected. Actually, they did the research of exactly what the look was, what was the look of inside the house, in Chamkila's house or in a village house, what would be cinematography, Sylvester. So they have all like they outdid the brief. All the pictures, Jassi and all of us were constantly every day, even now. Nine pictures are in Chamkile ke. Somebody has sent from here, somebody, and also the people of Punjab, once they got to know that we are making this film, they started sending that वो साढ़े को ये picture आएगी आप देख लो आपको जरूरत है क्या, things like that. So as they started coming, we started to put them into the film, and we started to then model the scenes, the look, so that we could have that flashpoint where they and Chamkila, the OG Chamkila, could coexist on screen, because we were anyways doing this multiple screen. And we are used to these things. Right now, you're looking at me, but you're also looking at yourself, right? Two boxes on screen. We are like, so all of these things started to come. Before even I wrote the script, what we had done is that the first draft was written by Sajid, my brother. I had told him that this is how the broad beats of the story will be, that he will be killed first, that they will come at Mehsampur, they will be shot down, and then we will go into this kind of thing where people will keep coming as the dead body travels. And in the end, blah, blah, blah. So then he wrote the first screenplay, for which he was the first one that went with Jassi and with everyone. So yeah, I think the brief was like, they over-delivered to the brief, every department. And that is why we have these flashback moments. And हम जब shoot कर रहे थे ना, तो क्या था कि I've never shot a biopic before, as I have said so many times. So sometimes when you're doing a scene with Diljit and Parineeti and all that, and I was like, ये हम सीन कर रहे हैं, but ये जो है ना सर, ये actually हुआ था. फिर ना वो एक feel आती थी, दिलजीत को भी, मुझे भी, परिणीति को भी, किसी भी एक्टर को या सिनेमाटोग्राफर को, कि this really happened. That really happened. I thought, how is it going to translate to the audience? Which is why the periodical emergence of photographs or covers of the record to say that there was a Chamkila and there was an Amarjot, and this happened up. So like, you're constantly being reminded that these things have happened. You're constantly cutting back to the lash also to know that, okay, we might be in a very happy zone in our film right now where the boy has met the girl, but look, they are actually in the present time dead right now. So it added a certain lifelike layer, you know. So yeah, so you were talking about research. So that is why the emergence of this time and again, this thing, the photographs or reminders that they were real people. Concept that we were thinking that what is truly international is what is truly local. go out and try to make an American type of film based in India, but a very desi film. Like this one is what happens here is the theme of singing bold lyrics and having to pay a price for it, which is violent, has happened everywhere in the world. It's happened in Mexico, it has happened in Bihar, it has happened in America, it has happened in Africa, it has happened everywhere in the world. It has happened so much in the rap artist scenarios of America, so much. And also then these musicians dying at this particular age, unfortunately, tragically, and a bit mysteriously also, कि 27 साल में क्यों मरना जिमी हेंड्रिक्स को, कर्ट कोबेन को, Jim Morrison को, and so on, Janis Joplin, Amy Winehouse, so many of them, 27. So there is this infamous 27 club. So it's a universal topic, the fact that so we actually went local in order to make it very universal. So, and people therefore could understand. So it's quite a Thet Punjabi setting, but that is what makes it a very universal film. I think. I was bold because I was saying that I'm okay with this, as an audience. I've moved on. Broken this whole thing of film में तो ऐसे ही होता है, एक ही screen होती है. But we used to it now, yeah. We do Zoom calls the whole bloody 3 years we've done Zoom calls, we're still doing it. So things like that. So yeah, we were ready to move on. Yeah, correct. It seemed right. And the first kind of circle of response is the filmmakers itself, the unit, the crew. They might, they could have shown a certain resistance to say that, the editor might have said, that ये क्या ये बॉक्स करना थोड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग लग रहा है, बट किसी ने बोला नहीं, तो मुझे भी लगा कि चलो it must be going in this right direction. So I started getting more and more encouraged like that. Yes, I was firstly, yeah, I guess we were taking. Now I look back and I feel that there are many chances that we have taken. At that point of time, nothing seemed to be like a decision of great bravery, honestly. But the only way of doing it, as I'm saying, that there were many things that I hadn't done, questions that I hadn't got the answer for before starting to do it. So the only way to do it was this. There was so much material, if you notice, so much material to craft it into a 2-hour, 17 minutes kind of a duration. You had to kind of splice it and slice it together. You couldn't have one chunk after the other chunk kind of a treatment. So there were many things that happened due to compulsion. The audience, we feel they are stupid, and audience के लिए ये करना पड़ता है. And I feel that directors should, I should never cover my own inability of telling a story properly by blaming it on the audience. Audience has got everything. Audience has got the fact that the company that used to supply the microphones, the mics in Punjab, was a certain company, and that name is there everywhere. Because of our research in our Akhada scenes, people have noticed and said. And people have all responded to all of these things, the Gota designs, the costume details and everything. So people get everything. This was this is not a simple story. There is backward and forward and flashback within flashback, and everything has happened over here. There is bloody live action going on, and suddenly you jump into animation. It could be throwing off. Nobody has complained about it. It also is a testimony to me personally to never make an excuse that audience nahi samjhegi. It reaffirms the view that audience aapse aage hai, sir. Aap kaho to kahani, ye audience to Mahabharat bhi samajh leti hai. Aap kis khet ki mooli ho in a way. So I'm very glad that it has kind of given me the faith in the audience again. At least everywhere in India, even in the South, you have seen Rukumani, Shadi ke baad kya hua, Rahman sir's song in Roja. Same. That, and yahan pe I'm saying, Rati ki guzri, 10 patlo de yara. So it's it's everywhere in this country, this thing. Point is that, yes, there is a lot of caste politics. I don't want to beat that drum which is already beaten. आपको कहते एक हिंदुस्तानी आदमी को कास्ट का सब पता होता है. if you have a dialogue in your film where this guy says that you think you are my equal just because I asked you to like sit with us. Don't forget apni auqat mat bhulo. And so on and so forth. You know, and this guy says that, sir, मैं भूखा नहीं मरूंगा. मैं चमार हूं, but भूखा तो नहीं मरूंगा. That caste battle gets clear. His concept, his life, it becomes clear. Then you don't have to show caste every time because he's basically the life of a musician that you're showing, not of a like he happens to be Dalit. Why we had this song which was not in the script. We just got carried away, you can say. This Naram Kalja, which is the best part, the best experience of shooting in Punjab for this film was Naram Kalja. So it was just like it was like a movement actually. Those women had come fighting with their fathers and brothers and camped over here to shoot with us. गांव-गांव उनको फिर बुला के मिल करके ये तो farms की लड़कियां हैं. We didn't even have a choreographer. We did it ourselves. Groups of 99 people, you know, because they could have a story. So imagine, and they were the weakest of all the human races, and they are the ones that. So, मतलब हम ना अपने इंटेलिजेंस को ओवर एस्टिमेट करते हैं एक्चुअली. लॉजिक होगा बट वी कैन नॉट अंडरस्टैंड इट. सो चमकीला न्यू मैं तो अशिक्षित हूँ सर. मेरे तो समझ ही नहीं है. मेरा तो सिर्फ ये है कि मुझे ये समझ में आ रहा, आई कैन डू दिस इज माय जॉब, आई कैन डू दिस एंड आई कांट लीव इट. It's a very scary thought. It's a very scary thought. And luckily for me, in this film, because this was on Netflix, we had to submit the film 3 months before the release. So pretty much more or less all the work was over. Little bit here and there remained, which was more the producer's job or like publicity, marketing, design and all of that. However, at that point of time, I was writing another story. I have been completely with another story that I've been writing for the last 3-4 months. And it is only then when Chamkila started to release that I kind of came back to it in a way and started to watch it and, you know, in real audiences and all that. And I was like overwhelmed by the response, of course. But then I kind of it helps, or then I'm actually with another story. So that's what keeps me not blank. Very overwhelming. I will take some time to express what I feel, but I'm very happy about the fact that like you know, a lot of people strangely in this film have said, I saw your film, thank you for making it. This is the overwhelming message on my film. Thank you for making. So it's like so many people are thanking me for making it. I'm saying, ye kya chakkar hai? Lot of people have felt overwhelmed and they have gratitude that we made this film. That is a very unique thing that has happened with this film. And it is, as I'm saying, in the karma of Chamkila and the blessing of Punjab and really the love and of the people. We have never met people like I met in the districts of Sangrur and Mansa in Punjab. And I mean, overall, it's very overwhelming. I'm going to be able to express my true gratitude to the audience time and in time, you know, but very thankful to the powers that be that this became the outcome of the film, or that the film is doing well, like so people are liking it.